Relieve, Respond, Revive. WSFL-TV presents The Rebound, South Florida.
They'll say, you got to spend that money. You got to spend that money. And we're going, well, we are spending the money.
$500 million. That's how much in CARES Act Florida funding schools have yet to spend. So we did a little digging to find out what's really going on.
They're more or less worried if they're going to get the virus from the vaccine.
As we get closer and closer to COVID-19 vaccines being released, there's skepticism about their safety, especially in minority communities. How a new coalition is hoping to ease vaccine concerns across the state. And it could be one of the biggest boosts to Americans and the economy as we rebound from the pandemic, wiping out some student loan debt. How this wipeout could work and whether it's likely to happen. The Rebound South Florida starts right now.
Florida's education boss recently revealed that school districts have hundreds of millions of dollars in CARES Act funds yet to be spent. This 4 months after they were awarded the money. So we wanted to know why. During a press conference with the governor earlier this week, Education Commissioner Richard Corcoran disclosed there's $500 million in CARES Act funding Florida schools have yet to spend.
We still have, I want to say, almost $500 million in unspent CARES funds for the districts. $500 million.
Which sounds like more than 100 days after being awarded the money, districts have collectively spent a fraction of the nearly $700 million allocated to them for products, services, and people needed to educate students amid an ongoing health crisis.
They're going to be able to plug those holes.
In fact, this spreadsheet provided to us by Florida's Department of Education shows nearly all school districts in the state have spent less than half its allotted dollars, with the majority still holding on to at least 75% of its CARES Act funds. Some have yet to spend a dime, according to the state.
It looks like school districts are really slow to spend this money.
It appears that way, but I will assure you that we are not.
This week, Pasco County Superintendent Kurt Browning found himself defending his district's spending habits, or lack thereof. Of the $14.5 million in CARES Act dollars Pasco schools received, the state shows the district has only withdrawn $2.5 million.
They'll say, you got to spend that money. You got to spend that money. And we're going, well, we are spending the money.
The problem, Browning says, is a rule that requires districts front the money, spend it, and only then ask the state for the reimbursements.
Why wouldn't you just give us the $14.6 million? I mean, it's not like we're going to go to Tahiti on this.
In Lee County, according to the state, the district has spent less than 10% of its $22 million. But a school spokesperson said they're waiting for another $3.5 million in reimbursements. Same in Miami-Dade, the state's largest school district, awarded the largest cash flow of CARES Act dollars. On paper, the district has withdrawn less than 1% of its $120 million pot. But according to a district spokesperson, another $20 million is in the reimbursement pipeline.
We had the plan, so there really was no reason to sit.
Only a handful of school districts have spent most of their allotted funds. To date, Charlotte County Schools, a small district, awarded just over $3 million, has spent 70% of it, the largest percentage of any school district.
The less you have, the faster it goes. There's no question about that.
Some districts that appear to be slow spenders point to shifting priorities and changes in other funding for the spending delay.
We've probably spent more on PPE than I will tell you than we've ever had budgeted.
Still, Superintendent Kurt Browning remains concerned what looks like shy spending on paper could cost schools in the long run.
Legislators are looking at the amount of CARES dollars that aren't being spent yet. They're going to say, well, if you have $500 million sitting here, why do you need more money?
While some government agencies have until the end of this year to spend their CARES Act dollars, school districts have until the end of 2022 to spend the money. Katie LeGrone, WSFL TV.
I'm Forrest Saunders at the Capitol. Are you going to take it? Research continues to show that minorities in Florida have some serious safety concerns over those 2 forthcoming COVID-19 vaccines. The FDA continues to review them for emergency use. Meanwhile, efforts are underway across the state to ensure trust in the people taking them. as Pfizer and Moderna prepare to ship first doses to Florida this month.
I'm not the vaccine type of person. I've never taken a flu shot, and I'm perfectly fine.
It isn't hard to find those leery of taking them.
I just want to see really what is going on with the first rounds before I make an executive decision.
Especially in the black community, despite drug makers reporting 95% efficacy for both products.
My colleagues and friends up here, they're more or less worried if they're going to get the virus from the vaccine.
New Pew Research data shows just how deep trust issues run among black Americans alone. Fewer than half surveyed planning to get inoculated.
We really have an uphill battle to make sure that these vaccines are well received by the communities that we serve.
University of Florida's Dr. Falakemi Odedna has been studying minority vaccine concerns with a coalition of schools across the state. The Community Engagement Alliance, or SEAL team, listening to focus groups who say on top of decades of oppression,
they don't trust the fact that the whole issue of COVID-19 has been politicized. And so that increases the mistrust.
Reaching those populations, she says, is vital. Vaccinations will better shield them as COVID disproportionately affects minorities. It'll also ensure Florida reaches herd immunity, eventually ending virus protection measures. But how do you do that? Florida officials say they're working on a plan for next year when mass vaccinations are possible. The SEAL team is planning a statewide effort in coming months to not only inform minority populations, but enlist local leaders and well-known people from their communities to advocate its safety.
We want to make sure that the people who are talking to us about this look like us.
Florida's Emergency Management Director, Jared Moskowitz, told us recently Florida Health will likely spearhead the state's vaccine communications effort. Details as to what it would look like are few, though he too wants local representation.
We're not just barking stuff up from here from Tallahassee. They got to get it from people that they trust. I think that's important.
Important, say medical experts, not just for minorities, but everyone wanting to move past COVID-19. We reached out to Florida Health for their plans on minority engagement for vaccinations. To date, we've yet to hear back. That's the latest out here at the Florida Capitol. I'm Forrest Saunders reporting.
Here's what's next on the Rebound South Florida. Putting a smile on children's faces this holiday season. How one local nonprofit is on a mission to collect as many toys as possible, and you can help. And local businesses are adapting to change as pandemic grows. But they're not giving up hope. How dozens of stores and restaurants find new ways to stay open and keep their customers safe.
As part of our commitment to helping South Florida rebound, we're taking a look at who's open and how they're adjusting as the pandemic continues to grow. At City Place Doral, over a dozen stores and restaurants are implementing new ways of operating to stay afloat.
If you want to be a successful business, you have to learn how to grow and adapt.
And that's exactly what the team at Tap 42 has done since the pandemic hit. Temperature checks, hand sanitizer stations, spaced out tables, virtual menus, and family meal bundles to go are just a few ways the eatery is adjusting to the new normal.
We had to get really creative throughout the last 6 to 8 months, and Family Bundle will get you 1 appetizer, 2 full-size entrees, and a dessert for $54. So we think it's a really great deal and great value play, especially in the to-go and delivery market.
City Place Doral is allowing stores and restaurants to use extra mall space to add more seating for customers, something new for both landlords and tenants.
Customarily, each restaurant who has access to outdoor seating has a certain amount of seating per permitting on their lease. Because of COVID, both the city and ourselves and code enforcement has allowed them to expand the seating capacity in order to make up for the lost seating or the social distancing spacing between tables in the interior of the restaurants.
Since adding these outside tables, we're probably close to 70%, which has been good. It's obviously not 100%, but we've been able to make it work, and you have to adjust accordingly in the business. So I think you learn and grow and adapt, and hopefully we'll be through all of this stuff soon.
And City Place Doral is offering 2-hour free parking for free, so customers don't have to rush while they're supporting local. Tap 42 isn't only open for dine-in and takeout at all of their 7 locations, but they're expanding and opening another location in Davie.
As far as trying to finalize our floor plan and stuff like that, you definitely have to take COVID into account. I think people feel safer with more spacing and things like that, but we're also very firm believers that hopefully once this passes in the next 6 months or so, that people are going to go back to living their lives. People are people, you can't change people, and we're confident that they're always going to want to continue to dine out the same way that they are now.
Local restaurants and businesses need our help now more than ever. If you'd like to see a restaurant or business featured, email us at feedback@wsfltv.com. Helping South Floridians during the holidays, that's what Meals on Wheels is committed to doing. The nonprofit will be delivering over 150 holiday gift boxes to homebound seniors in need. The boxes include basic necessities, including masks, sanitizer, shampoo, shaving cream, and more.
We provide meals throughout the week to these clients, and we know there's more than just meals that they need, and sometimes they find it hard to make ends meet to get things like laundry detergent or to get things like personal care items, new socks. I mean, things that we take for granted. And so it really started with us wanting to show our clients that we care about them over the holiday season.
Mark says they will start delivering the boxes next week. If you're interested in volunteering, you can contact Marlene Gray. Her email is listed on your screen. Throughout South Florida, there are ongoing efforts to distribute boxes of fresh food and necessities for anyone in need. For more information on Meals on Wheels and other nonprofits or groups hosting distributions in South Florida, head to WSFLTV.com and click Rebound.
Student loan debt. It's something millions of Americans are struggling with. But is there a chance some of that debt will be wiped away? We'll take a look at how it would actually work. And each week we highlight a local company that's hiring. A communications agency based in South Florida could be what you're looking for. You're watching The Rebound, South Florida. Getting through this with stories to help get back on track as we rebound in South Florida.
New plans for student loan forgiveness are being proposed as President-elect Joe Biden prepares to take office. Here is the latest on how that debt wipeout would work and whether it's likely to actually happen. President-elect Joe Biden campaigned on a promise to forgive some student loan debt, and now millions of Americans are hopeful that will happen shortly after he takes office.
I think it is one of the most accessible ways that President-elect Joe Biden has to stimulate the economy.
Suzanne Kahn is the Director of Education, Jobs, and Worker Power at the Roosevelt Institute and says Biden has two choices for immediate student loan forgiveness. One, push for Congress to include it in the next stimulus package. He's currently doing that and pushing for $10,000 to be forgiven. Two, if Congress doesn't include it in the stimulus package, Biden can issue an executive order by authority given to him in the Higher Education Act. Either option could eliminate student loan debt for roughly 15 million borrowers and reduce the debt of another 30 million Americans.
It is most likely through executive action, or at least that the first movement we'll see around it is through executive action. That's really just because the federal government owns 95% of student debt, and the Secretary of Education has the ability to cancel it.
I mean, my sense is it's not inevitable.
Neil McCluskey is the director of the Center for Educational Freedom at the Cato Institute and says student loan forgiveness, especially through executive order, could be the most controversial way to go.
There seems to be straws that certainly he can grab and say, look, this gives me authority to just sort of write off this debt. Other people say it's not clear in the law that he can do that. And so if he were to try to cancel debt through executive action, it would probably end up in court, and it would be a pretty long court battle.
So if you're at home wondering what this means for your student loan debt, ultimately, it is now more likely than ever before that some of your debt could be forgiven, but still nowhere close to guaranteed.
I don't think it's inevitable, but I do think it is exciting that it's on the table, and frankly, important that it's on the table.
I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
Helping South Florida get back to work. Each week on The Rebound, we highlight local companies that are hiring. This week, a nationally recognized communications agency based in South Florida has entry to senior level positions available.
We have done so well throughout COVID because we have been a flexible workplace for more than 10 years. And by doing the right thing, we actually were pandemic ready.
Known for their remote working culture, RBB Communications is ready to add around 5 to 6 people to their team. The firm has been around over 40 years with a global network extending across more than 100 cities and 50 countries.
We service a range of clients. We do a lot of corporate work, consumer, healthcare, travel, education. It really is a large mix.
Positions and requirements vary.
We have an entry-level position, which is an assistant account executive. And I look for recent college graduates who have interned and understand the fast pace of an agency. And really important is that everyone takes a writing test as their first step in the process. Separately, for a position like a senior account executive, it's a bit more specialized. And I'm looking for someone with at least 4 years of experience who is a creative problem solver, has polished written and verbal communication skills, and understands the mix of digital, PR, and paid that our clients require.
So while I've never actually met any of my colleagues in person, I still feel so connected to them.
Recent college grad Rachel Girardi landed an internship with the company right after graduation in May. After just 3 months, she moved up within the company and is now an assistant account executive.
I get to work on a mix of clients across a variety of industries like professional services, electrical utilities, engineering services, medical supplies, hospitality industries. We're an integrated firm that really helps create the full picture, and so I'm grateful to be getting a diverse hands-on experience.
I look for their communication skills. That's always number one for me. How do they talk? What types of words do they use? Do they ask good questions? Are they curious and interested? Have they read up? And what type of experience do they have, which is equally as important.
If you think this is for you, head to rbbcommunications.com for more information on the available positions and requirements. You can also email Tina at tina.elmowitz@rbbcommunications.com. If you missed all of this information, you can also find it at the top of our website. With the holidays right around the corner, local organizations are stepping up to help families in need, and you can too. Shoes for Streets has one mission in mind: to collect unwrapped toys for children of all ages. Our chief photojournalist went to their annual toy drive and has more.
We do this toy drive every year. We've done it for the last 4 years. We pretty much do this amongst our members and amongst people in the community, social media. We collect as many unwrapped toys as we can, and we go to the lower income areas in Miami. I try to focus on the areas that people don't want to go to. The reason why I do it is because of the kids. I was that type of kid one time when I was younger. I went through my own things. Last year was our biggest caravan. We did 15 trucks. We went through South Miami, Overtown, Little Havana, Little Haiti. At least for us, it's a little more cool because we get to go in depth. We go in the inner cities where no one goes. It's hands-on. We go from our hands directly to the people who need it. Our goal this year is to fill up at least 3 shipping containers, because then we know we have a lot to give out. This year with the whole COVID situation, people got hit up a little different. You know, the low income got hit up a little harder. So the goal is to try to get to everyone as much as we can and try to help out a little extra this year.
The South Florida lifestyle has been described as picture perfect. Nicole Bowen from Weston says there's something for everyone.
I drag my parents. It's really me that's forcing them, but I love the South Florida like culture and lifestyle, and how, you know, there's always a new restaurant to try out, art gallery or whatever it may be. For sure, go to Jackson's in Dania Beach and get my favorite flavor. Everyone tells me I'm so weird. The bubblegum flavor that has like bubblegums inside the ice cream. There's this dog park. I think on like Sunrise and A1A. They have games for the dogs, they have live music, and right across the street is the beach. One of my favorite spots in like downtown Brickell, Miami Beach area is Nikki Beach. They have this gorgeous like lounge. Literally it's all sand and palm trees. You literally feel like you're somewhere way more exotic.